god, it's the Terminator! I'm not the Terminator, I'm the Punisher. Well, if you're the Punisher, doesn't he usually wear black? Doesn't the Punisher usually wear a skull on his shirt? You happy? Adamkowski, it's time for you to be punished. Punished? For what? For this. It's not that bad of a movie. And that's exactly why you need to be punished. By the way, doesn't the Punisher usually have guns? Alright, here, a gun. Are you happy? I meant real guns. What up, y'all, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Adamkowski, AK for short, and today we're going to talk about The Punisher from 1989. One of the biggest difference between this movie and all the other Punisher properties, here, take a look. Something is missing. The famous Punisher skull symbol. Some fans may be offended that he doesn't have the skull. Some may say, that's okay. But the movie itself, how does it stack up? Well, I'm going to tell you today. The story centers around Frank Castle, an ex-cop turned vigilante after his family is killed in a bombing. He has to go up against the mafia, the Yakuza, the Japanese mafia, the police, and his ex-partner, who is the only one who believes Frank is the Punisher. And while all that is going on, the Yakuza kidnaps a bunch of children of the mob and holds them ransom to get what they want. So it's up for the Punisher to save the kids while fighting off against the Yakuza. So there's kind of a bit of story going on in this movie, and it's only a 92-minute movie including credits. Let's talk about what I think is the best part of the movie. That's Dolph Lundgren as the Punisher. Is he John Barenthal? Probably not. Okay, he's not. But, to be honest, he gets a reputation of not being the greatest actor of all time, not always making the best movies of all time. And yeah, he's usually in a bunch of B movies, but to be honest, he's a good choice for the Punisher. He doesn't have much to say in the movie, and when he does talk, yeah, the line delivery is kind of weak, but he's still very intimidating. He's well built, and he's over 6'5". That's really intimidating. He also lives in the sewers, because I guess he's a fan of the Ninja Turtles, and he's always meditating, trying to talk to God, convincing himself what he's doing is right, and he's waiting for an answer if what he is doing is right or wrong. And until he gets an answer, he will continue what he is doing. That's a little interesting. I'm probably reading too much into it, but I think this is a really interesting thing. You don't really hear a whole lot about the Punisher's religion or how his religious views are. So you could probably say what he is doing is trying to give himself an excuse to kill people. Or he is religious and he's really trying to convince himself or look for an answer if what he is doing is right. So there's a few ways to think about that, because you don't hear much about it. Except in the Netflix series where he says that he used to be a Catholic. Because I guess after his family, he could really care less about religion and all that. Aside from Dolph Lundgren, the second person who has top billing in this movie is Louis Gossett Jr., who is an Academy Award winner. And while he is an Oscar winner, he does okay in this movie. Just because you win an Oscar doesn't automatically mean your movie's going to be good. And it's mostly because his character is the generic ex-partner friend who has to obey the law still, but it still wants what's best for his friend. But he's not given a whole lot to make this character interesting. He's likable, but not that memorable. Speaking of partners, Gossett Jr. has a partner in this movie who you can honestly cut out from the movie and you would not miss a thing. I guess she's just so interested in learning about the Punisher, her character in the movie, but she's almost non-existing in the movie. All the other characters, such as the villains, are pretty forgettable. I mean, he's going up against the Mafia, and he's going up against the Yakuza. The main villain, I guess, is the Yakuza lady, but like I said, there's so many different villains in the movie, it's hard to tell who's the main villain. You could say it's the main mob boss, but still, because he joins sides with the Punisher at the end. But then he just turns his back on the Punisher and tries to kill him anyway, so I really don't know who the villain really is in the movie. While this movie is kind of lacking with story and characters, it does have a lot of action scenes in it. It is pretty generic action, but there is a lot of action throughout the movie. Like all the other Punisher movies, it is rated R, so it does have some pretty cool rated R moments. At the beginning, there's a really cool scene where he's going around one of the mob's mansion and killing off his goons one by one, and then he blows up the house twice. But I guess he was also in the house during the explosion, so how he survived it, I don't know. Another action scene it has is where he breaks into a casino owned by the Yakuza, and all he really does is he just shoots a big gun around, destroying all the slot machines and gambling machines. It almost reminded me of the ending to Rambo 2, First Blood Part 2, and it goes on for like 2 minutes. There's also a lot of laughable moments, unintentionally laughable. For example, there's a character who's a drunk, thespian, homeless man who speaks in rhymes. I guess he's the guy who gives the information to the Punisher, kind of like Micro from the comics, but he's not called Micro, he's called Shake. The Punisher gets a remote control toy car, puts a bottle of whiskey, I think it's whiskey, on the back, and makes Shake follow it to him. The Punisher is playing with a remote control toy. Let that sink in for a second. There is a good foil in the movie where the Punisher punishes the guilty, the mob bosses, but the Yakuza kidnaps the mob's children. So he goes, and despite them being the mafia's children, he still saves them because they're innocent. For me though, it is Dolph Lundgren that sells the show for me. He is really intimidating. He's kind of the guy I don't want to mess with. Like Barenthal I wouldn't want to mess with, but with Dolph Lundgren I'd be like, you're a big man. And yeah, it doesn't have the famous skull symbol on his shirt. It has it on his knives, which is interesting. But the skull's technically in there, just not on his shirt. It is kind of a big deal because it's like Batman with his bat symbol or Superman with his S. That's just how you identify the character first. That's why superheroes have symbols. They have a meaning to something. So, is it the greatest movie of all time? No. Is it the best superhero movie of all time? No. But I don't think it's the worst comic book movie of all time. A lot of people do bash this movie a lot, and it's actually not that bad. I actually think it's worth a good viewing at least once for the common moviegoer. This is kind of a shorter review, but I kind of said what I needed to say. I do like this movie, and I'm going to watch it a couple more times in the future. Overall, I'm going to give The Punisher 1989
5 out of 10 Punisher skulls.
What are you so mad at? I gave it an average score.
This movie gives The Punisher a bad name.
Look, it's an okay movie. I just find it entertaining. It's not the greatest movie of all time. And I mean, the best part about the Punisher movies are the Punisher actors. That should say something. That's not giving the Punisher a bad name. I mean, is the movie Captain America? No, but at least it's not Captain America. So we cool? Yeah, we're cool. Cool, how about we get together sometime? You know, I bring my family, you bring your family.
I don't have one.
What?
I don't have one.
Say again?
I don't have a family!
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't hear you when you're doing your Batman voice. Uh-oh. One moment, please. Thank you all for watching my video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment down below and leave a request for a future video. And until next time, hopefully I will see you later.